Because I'm guessing we're looking down this barrel here. You guys
just imagine that we're staring
Let's finish
straight ahead.
each other's
sentences.
Yeah.
So that
welcome
to
the.
Comic.
What are you doing? You're not part of. No.
I'm going to be a part of this.
This is an A/B conversation. You see your way out of it.
No, there's a C. There's a C in this equation.
I wrote the guest list this conversation. And you know what? Your name's not on it. So welcome back to the Comic Core.
This week, it's been a while. We've kind of relaunched here, similar to the New 52. No? Okay.
No.
I tried it. It didn't
No.
really go well. In my head, I
Folks,
saw some unicorns.
When you think about making videos, plan them beforehand.
No.
Discuss with your friends. Otherwise, it's kind of like, I don't have my diazepam.
At the end of that plan, I saw a few unicorns and some gold. I thought we were
That's
headed
fine.
there. I really just saw a bowl of cereal.
Yeah, that's fine. Bowl cereal is delicious. So we're discussing some of our continued thoughts on the New 52, what we felt the stories have been after about 4 or 5 issues. Right now, seeing where they've been, where they've led us. So we're going to start it off with Kurosh. What are your thoughts?
I think it's done pretty good. I mean, in terms of guys and girls in the comic shops, the general population, people come to the comic shops more. I think I've seen a bit, over the few weeks, months actually. Sorry, that this has been going on. Definitely a lot of more excitement in readers, at least a little bit of controversy to get readers talking. It's just, I don't know, it seems like it's doing pretty good. It's kind of revitalized comics a bit more. I mean, nothing new per se in terms of bold new directions. It's something I've seen comics do before with relaunches, revamps, all that stuff, just on a line-wide scale. I think in terms of things that have been innovative, or at least more, I've been paying attention more to, are the digital side of things. I don't know about you guys.
No.
Anything? No. It's that kind of went nowhere.
The problem is you have to know your audience. Unfortunately, there's no one here with an iPad. There's no one here who has a Nook color. So there's no one amongst us who's going to buy. At least for me, I can read comics on a computer screen, but you're sitting there and it's not as comfortable as you lay in your bed, kick back somewhere with a comic book. Plus, you can take them wherever you go. You don't have to be in your room on a computer, or if you have a laptop. The portability of a comic is obviously much more than that of just a computer, or if you had the money for an iPad.
Yeah.
So that's definitely, I think, one thing that bars any of our opinions on it in the first place. Well, folks, if you don't mind, we're going to have a quick commercial break while Kurosh answers his phone. Please don't mind us.
Yeah.
I don't know if it still recorded all that. Probably got on this one, though. Kurosh had a phone call. What up?
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
And so that's how I thought Firefly should have ended.
See, right now you just completely null and voided your opinion because you say ended. It should have never have ended. So clearly your point, nah.
Fox thought a different way, but
Yeah, because Fox is smart. You really going to use Fox's intelligence as any kind of basis on their decision making? Really, why would you, why? You just opened Pandora's box, okay? Why would you?
Speaking of Pandora, we now know the identity of that chick that's been on all the 52 issues. Her name is Pandora.
Yeah, spoiler alert, by the way, in case you didn't want to know about that. He just gave it up.
It was an announcement that DC made.
Was it? But do you think everyone here saw that?
Yes.
I think that I have faith in our viewers that they're pretty illiterate.
I think our viewers might come to us for their comic news, so maybe.
And that's why I gave it to them.
Yeah, without a warning.
What warning? Warning! I'm about to give you some news.
Yeah, seriously, title below should have said that. That'll be on Briston. If it's not there, find him, punch him in the neck.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I'd say I hate Nazis.
Eric, what are some of your thoughts about?
I haven't had a chance to read all of them, obviously, and I haven't had a chance to read some of the titles that I've been interested in. But I've read a few. I've really enjoyed Justice League. Justice League has actually been really good.
It feels like it's like almost like a Dungeons
Eric's
and Dragons.
turn.
I'm elaborating on some of what he's saying.
No, no one cut you off, but that's cool. That's cool.
I'm sorry, go on.
It's Pro Show. And we'll be right back with another message from Kurosh's phone.
That's how I think Firefly should have continued.
Oh, very good point. I respect that opinion to a certain degree.
I thought you'd appreciate it at least. I'm sorry, Eric. You were
So
saying.
continuing, I just read all 5 of the Red Lantern. It's unfortunate because those of us that love the Red Lanterns were looking more for a rage-filled, go get 'em, kill 'em all, and it was a lot of soul-searching and let's talk about our feelings and atrocities. My kitty cat, stay away from my pet. That's not Atrocitus. It's an unfortunate thing. Atrocitus feeling he needs to have a second in command. It's Atrocitus. Come on, he needs no one else to continue his mission. But I was very excited in the end of issue 5. It was really good, and I'm excited to see what happens there. Batman and Robin. I've just read the first couple of issues. Good. Enjoyed.
If I might interject real quick, if you don't mind, about the Red Lanterns, I think it's a good story still. I think it's something that might some people want to know about, and it's good to know that. But I think that it just wasn't the right. Maybe you shouldn't have started out with that story. You maybe should have started out with more of just like what people were expecting, more of just ass kicking Red Lanterns going out there biting people, vomiting blood on them, then going into maybe the second story arc being like, okay, this is where we are, and you need to know more of this stuff. Because I think just jumping right off the bat from the Red Lanterns, who are supposed to be just these rage mongers who just hate and spewing blood, into this like, well, I miss this. That's why I'm angry. It didn't feel right. Misunderstood. I think they could have led in with a better story first off.
And it is good because, like you said, as far as an origin, because you get an origin of four other characters,
right.
and you actually get to see how they got to be a Red Lantern. Yeah. But again, it would have probably been better as a next story arc, or maybe even 2 story arcs from this one. Yeah. I did enjoy it, but it's still not what I was looking for as far as a Red Lantern book. But 5 did give me hope, so I'm excited
wait,
about
5
that.
gave you hope? That's not right. No,
as it being a good book.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. I'm like, that's not right.
As a reader, you should be filled with hope. As a
yeah. The others have been that I've read have been pretty good. So far, I've enjoyed what I've read. So
yeah, Batman and Robin you mentioned a bit. I've been really enjoying that. As much as I've missed the Dick and Damian Batman and Robin. Going and seeing this new father-son, Bruce and Damian, has been nice.
That has been a really good, because it shows very much different styles in which Dick and Bruce handle just many things in their aspects of life. Yeah. That Bruce is just still, he's just like stalwart. He's trying to come out of his shell a little bit with this, but it's still like, he's still just like pulling teeth with him. He's still just like, this is the way I see it. This is how I'm going to be a father. And it's like, it's unfortunate because you can't go back and compare his parenting style with Dick versus his parenting style with Damian, because just the writing of the time was not as nuanced as it is now. Yeah, so you don't have this. You can't see as much like, oh, because I mean, you had the world's finest back in the day where him and where Superman, Batman, and Dick Grayson run around and being goofy, happy, fun time, and it's like just depending on the writers of who were doing the time, it was very much a different idea and feel for the books. And there's different things you couldn't quite that you do different now. Like you have kids in mortal danger. And you see how Bruce handles that. He's like, I'm going to handle this. He does try to shield Damian and stuff like that. Whereas, like, you didn't have, you had that with Dick, but it wasn't the same feeling because the writing was different.
Well, I don't think it's just the writing that was different. I think a lot of things were different. I think the amount of the where the characters was much different. They weren't as in a dark place as they've been.
And the readers were different.
Yeah, the readers were different. The characters were different. The writers were different. A lot of things were different, but just in terms of character, I think, just looking at where the characters were, I think that it was a much livelier, happier time for Bruce and Dick back then. Now with Damian, it's just the whole relationship is built off of something that was kind of dark. I mean, he had this child with Talia al Ghul, gone through the League of Assassins and all that stuff. That stuff is sitting there this is a kid who's been trained to kill, and he's kind of had to watch that. That's something that is that's like the elephant in the room, I think.
Yeah. Well, and that's because Batman doesn't kill. That's his key, and that's what teaching his son that isn't the right way. That's not the way we do it. Yeah. And I'm digging it.
That is one thing too. I wish they could have covered more with the Red Hood issues, where the Red Hood was there and Dick was there, and if Bruce was there too, that'd have been good because that is the the coin that the Damien can become is the Red Hood. It is Jason Todd, where he decides, you know what, let's just go the other way.
Yeah.
And that's where you don't want him to go. So it's like it'd be interesting to see more of that story. But right now with the whole 52 relaunch, Jason's to the wind. Other stories are all gone, and you can't really pull it all together to try and tell that story right now.
Another thing with the New 52, I know these are some of the books you've been picking up with Green Lantern and Batman and stuff, is that the books that were doing well beforehand weren't really changed too much. I mean, we kind of touched upon that about what this relaunch
Green
means.
Lantern was just issue 68. It wasn't Green Lantern.
It was just like a jumping point, like what Marvel's been doing. Like
it was just a whole other issue. It didn't even like they read like just the next issue. There was no even if you read in a trade, you'd be like, okay, next one. So,
but what I was going with that was like Green Lantern is one we've talked about Red Lantern and Green Lantern a little bit. Green Lantern's been doing as if as it was before. Batman on the whole Bat Family books, I think they've really kind of expanded with a few of their books, with what they've done with Batgirl,
Batwoman.
It's kind of they've kind of like expanded a little bit because they've gone back to an old status quo where they did have a Nightwing book. They have they have their Batwoman, they have their Batgirl.
Batwing
for a while, and for a while they've gone back and forth on like how many extra titles they've had. They've had Red Robin, they've had Batgirl, they've had regular Robin. That they've gone back and forth, and so it's kind of re-expanding the universe to these characters and kind of limiting Batman himself to his few titles. But even that's starting to change again. It's ballooning
true.
as always.
Tristan?
For me, two titles off the top of my head was like All-Star Western and Animal Man. I mean, Crosh and I have been going back and forth with like Animal Man, and he's been reading Swamp Thing as well.
Yeah,
I've only read the first issue, and now with the issue 5 of Animal Man, it's like tying in pretty much to Swamp Thing. I don't know what's going on Swamp Thing's side, but like
it's just as good.
Every single issue throughout Animal Man it's proving to be something to be read. I mean, this is like something I've been anticipating every month pretty much. Like, it has not failed. I mean, with All-Star Western, it's been great. Maybe one or two have been a little bit of a hit and miss, but I just felt like Animal Man was like the superior read so far.
You've been enjoying?
I mean, another one I would shout out to is Batwoman. The artwork's fantastic.
Fantastic?
I think that's
fantastic.
It's fantastic.
So not grim.
No, not grim.
No. It's not even refreshing. Even it's just it's fantastic.
Fantastic.
The word of the it's the new
super
word.
Fantastic.
It's the new 52 for Riston.
Fantastic.
But you were mentioning Animal Man. I mean, a lot of books in the horror category of the new 52, they've kind of had their own little worlds, like the magic books, the horror books, the mainstay books and stuff. I think the horror books have been really surprising a lot of people in terms of readership and just popularity and everything.
Yeah.
From your opinion,
definitely. I mean, with the first couple of weeks, we just selling out of the books you don't expect to sell out of. I mean, you expect to sell out of Action Comics. You expect to sell out of Detective, JLA. There's certain things they're just going to fly off the shelf. The ones you get caught off guard are like, wait, Resurrection Man? That's the one that's going to sell out pretty quick this week? Okay, Demon Knight? Which, I mean, not saying that they're bad titles, but they're not ones you would have thought of to first sell out the first week.
Yeah, they're not like the Trinity or like even like the Flash, the Green Lanterns and stuff, which have been all great books as well. All in all, though, I don't know. I feel like after that big new launch that they went through, things have kind of settled down right now.
Things have settled down. They've plateaued, and my biggest problem is like you're saying, you think it was really good. To a certain degree, I felt it was more of a letdown, almost a failure in my eyes. I think they should have had better creative teams. More. I mean, nothing against some of the writers they have on now, but some of them aren't as good. They've had better writers in the past. I think they should have brought in stronger teams to sell these books hard for that first launch. We are getting new readers, but I mean we've already started to see dwindling numbers from new readers. They check it out for a little bit and they drop off again. If they would have had better writers right off the bat to kind of hook people in more, that would have been better. Also, the stories seem to be more like little tiny nuggets of stories. Like, you're not even getting a whole issue
really
anymore.
decompressed.
It's really, and it's just like it's not even enough to get a whole good taste of. Like, if I still look at over at Marvel, I still look at X Factor, and every month, I'm still loving each issue as a full, like, here's part of that story, here's part of that story. This one's not even like, it's just before the commercial break, that's all you're getting.
Yeah,
as opposed to each issue is an episode, this one's just like, here's a commercial break, and then you pick up the next issue. It's just like, it's not enough to sink your teeth into.
I don't know if that's so much a line-wide thing as it is a writer thing. Like, writers like Jeff Johns, I've noticed, have really decompressed a lot of their stuff. I read a Green Lantern issue in less than like 5 minutes, and that's going back and going through things again. Whereas I'll read an issue of Batman or Animal Man, and there's enough story going on there that I can feel like it's an issue's worth.
For the most part, yeah. But I just feel overall like there's been too many titles that feel like it's just like, oh, okay, it's already over. Okay, well I'm left,
Well, for me, I've unfortunately been out of comics for a little bit, but I agree. It's like with JLA #1. I was just like, wait a minute, that was it? Really? Wait. There could have been. Couldn't there be more? So I do definitely agree with that. And some of the Marvel books that I've been reading, X-Force or Uncanny X-Force, Uncanny X-Men. I mean, they're all good reads, and they, like we were saying, that you just are satisfied, and it's like, oh, okay, I want more. But that was a good episode.
Yeah.
So
It's like several of the reads, like like Justice League, for example. I can't think of anything, but like it's like Green Lantern as well. Like there's these really fast-paced comics where it feels like all this information's going by, and then there's someone like Animal Man or Swamp Thing where it just or this Animal Man and Swamp Thing where it's just pretty much information is just set aside for you just to keep on going. So far, like I'm liking a good half of it. I mean, like with the New 52, I read about at least a half of the New 52 pretty much, and I stood with the smaller half pretty much. I mean, some of them are still great because of the pacing. I mean, like Animal Man, for an example. And sometimes, like, with the Justice League, I mean, the fast pace was nice because it gives you kind of like that action movie feel.
Yeah, but with a book like JLA, they're charging you an extra $1.
This is true.
That's one of the few books that they have been doing that. And I agree with Eric. It feels like it's too little for too much.
I'm not trying to justify the price. I'm just justifying the pacing of the comics themselves.
Well, the pricing, I think, falls into that.
I mean, like, for example, Green Lantern, it's like $3. I know it's quite a bit, too. But, I mean, it's all right with the pacing that it's at, even though it's, like, as you said, decompressed, but...
I think they've been, I don't know, it's something that they've fallen into, kind of like a writing habit that they've had, some of these writers. And you guys mentioned Marvel a little bit. I was wondering what you guys think that after this relaunch and everything, Marvel should take away from this.
don't do it.
Don't do it.
I mean, they've been doing their own kind of style with the point ones already. And they're doing some of these trade graphic novels, the season ones.
Yeah, those are honestly just jump on points as opposed to an actual restart in the sense.
Well, I'm saying that their version of this,
in
terms of a jump, because the whole goal of this was to get new readers into comics and to just keep the comic industry, push it forward and get it going, because a lot of comics weren't selling that much as of late.
The point ones are just jumping on points. There's nothing compared to the 52 relaunch. I mean, 52 relaunch is completely line wide, and just basically says, the closest Marvel's done to it has been Spider-Man Brand New Day, where they're like, forget continuity, forget all that stuff. We're just going to do what we want to do and make it jump on point, which to a certain degree they've seen some success from. But I think that a lot of the more recent success is due to the teams and creative teams they put on it, as opposed to just the stories are being able to be written now. Because he's not married.
Yeah.
Like they could have done many of these stories in this very in a little bit different way. As long as you just change that one point, you don't need to change continuity.
Yeah.
Changing continuity, I think, it cuts off some readers from continuing on. They're like, wait, I remember that story. Like that doesn't. If you think back to this character, oh, he did that back in this issue. It's like, oh no, he didn't anymore. So it's like, how do you have Dick Grayson now running around the streets of New York or Bloodhaven, wherever he's going to end up next? How do you have him doing that when it's like, okay, well, he used to be part of the Titans? Well, no, those Titans didn't exist.
Yeah, it changes the characterization.
So it changes the characters. Like, how's his history going to be affected? Like when he runs into Wonder Woman or Wonder Girl or anybody else who might have had a history with him, that changes dramatically.
It's one of the great things I think that comics have that no other medium has.
Yes, rampant stupidity.
Overall, feelings on the new 52 moving forward. What do you guys think?
I mean, we're always eager for new stories. Comic readers are always looking for new stuff to read. They want to know what's going to happen to their favorite characters next. Yeah. And unfortunately, no matter what, they're still going to be buying those comics, even if the creators behind it, or I shouldn't say the creators, because a lot of times that's the writers stuff. A lot of times the corporate people behind it don't really care one way or the other. They're just like, whatever's going to try to make that fast buck this next week. And so we're kind of, we're just stuck, and we're going to keep reading. So whether we like it or not.
Same. It is what it is, and we keep reading because we love it.
I'm just going to keep reading my favorite stuff pretty much, so I'm keeping it at that much.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Marvel does, I guess, in response. I'm sure that not in response so much as what their next big thing will be in terms of trying to get the eye back on them. They've been doing good. DC's looks like
that's the thing is I don't think Marvel needs to do it. I don't think they need a response. I think with you just telling the good stories like they've done in X Factor with the all the X books. You got Spider-Man with the big time. You've got different teams have their different.
For
stuff
all
going on.
those, I think their Avengers books, which is like some of their main books, aren't doing as well as they should be doing. The Avengers X Sanction book that just came out recently is kind of redundant, I guess. It's like a 4-issue long series that just came out to lead into another big series that's going to come out that's going to have its own tie-ins.
Well, but that's
what they do.
comics do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
In
like
everything.
I'm just saying,
Civil
with like
War
that's
Crisis
the
Invasion.
Avengers, the Avengers versus X-Men thing is their big thing for 2012 that they've been billing. That I think they're trying to get in terms of attention-wise, and I don't know. I see it working. I see some of the things that they're doing with it go well. Some of the things I'm not too fond of.
Catch you next time. Bye.
Late's all.